It is a beautiful day outside. 79 degrees in northern Iowa. And you know what that means? Boom, that guy's going to the lake, and so is that guy. God, she's beautiful. But anyway, that means there's a lot of work to do. Hopefully by Friday we can get the two boats, 1991 Sea Ray and the 1987 Formula, out on the water by this Friday and have ourselves a weekend. I got a little paint booth set up back here. Painting my two stern drives for the Formula. I need to put another coat on. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to Making Motor Moves. Like and subscribe as always. Enjoy the video. That's better. So now for the fun part. Reconnecting all of the wires and hoses and whatever. Throttle cable linkages, harnesses. Hopefully I took good enough pictures. Let's go. And now for the messy part. Replacing rotten boards. Should be good to go after the new piece of plywood. Both the stern drives have been painted, so I think they turned out pretty good. And here's the other one. Nice and shiny, clear coat turned out nicely. I hope I put them back together right. Really important part here is mating the drives up to the boat. You really want to make sure you have the right Quicksilver gasket kit. Replace your main O-ring, your water jacket O-ring, and then all O-rings that come with the shaft seal. That's really important because if you see inside there, you have your gimbal bearing, and then out here you have your water jacket O-ring. That's where your water all comes in. That's really important. You don't want that mixing with oil or anything else, nor do you want it getting through the transom. And then making sure you have the proper gasket for the job. This is already sealed, ready to go. I just have to mate this guy up. Hardest part is going to be getting the shaft aligned through my gimbal bearing and into the back part of my engine where the engine housing is bolted up. Most importantly though is to have a shaft tool like this. Grease the end up, and what you do is you actually slide this, if I can show you here, you actually slide this through your gimbal bearing and it should just very easily connect just like that into your engine. If it's aligned right, it should spin very easily and it should be well supported, and there should be no movement in your bearing up there. So I've done that for both engines already. We are ready to go. This is for Alpha 1s mating to Mercruiser 350 mag engines. That was interesting. The spine was bound up and we didn't want to pry on it because we didn't want to break the gasket. George had the brilliant idea of putting a ratchet strap around this part of the motor and pulled it out with the F911. I don't think it's ever let us down. Nope. Not once. Okay, back to it. Oh, just look at him. Just out there waiting, ready. And you majestic beast, you. Not you, Cummins. I meant Formula. All right, little update for you guys as we're going through this whole process, getting the Formula ready for its first splashdown in, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months, with its rebuild engines, with its rebuild drives. I actually have both the drives in now. Last time you saw in the yard, I was struggling. I could not get these things on. I could get them on all the way in to like an inch left and couldn't get them to go the rest of the way. So I thought something was wrong with my shaft and spline alignment. I texted one of my buddies who knows a lot about boat. He actually told me something about what's called the Mercruiser kick. On these Alpha drives, they get in far enough and they hit this square O-ring that sits and seals the what is essentially a tapered input into the housings that go into the back of the trans. You have to lube those up, and then actually when you get to that inch point and you know your splines and shafts are aligned, you kick the back of the drive into the boat, and sure enough, both of them went in nicely. If you guys remember, I was actually starting to work on this guy. Well, that day I was going to the hardware store to get a piece of lumber is when the Cummins yelled up on me. Anyway, fast forwarding now, we're back. This has kind of been on the back burner, but now we've got the engine hatch that I've been working on. I made, if I can show you here, all new boards for it. Our buddy Phil, who you guys have met now, Phil has been helping me cut these boards, get them stapled to the old upholstery, and now I'm finally at the point where I'm getting them all screwed together. I get this last one to do. I ran out of staples, so I ran to the hardware store, grabbed some staples, gonna staple this guy all back on. I bought marine treated plywood, but I even added a coat of marine varnish on the outside of all the wood, just to keep things waterproof and never have any issues with it. I'll get this put back onto the engine cover. I'll flip it over, show you how pretty it is, and soak the heck out of it with vinyl conditioner and treatment and bring this stuff back to life. How about that? Woo! That is sharp. That's just the bottom side. Now I'll flip it over, probably let it soak for a couple days, and vinyl restore. It's spring in Iowa, and if this doesn't tell you anything, that's what spring in Iowa is like. But despite that, we are gonna start the boat today. Last couple things I need to do: throw the engine hatch on and see if I put everything back together properly, see if the water pumps work, my impellers work. I actually went and got 50 gallons of gas for this yesterday too, because the gas tank was completely empty. Hopefully she fires right up. Let's just do it, get it over with, like ripping off a band-aid. Here we go. Can't get this one to come out of gear. Okay, so I think I need to pull the drive back off of this engine, which is really sad, but something's not right with my shifter linkage here. I can't get it out of gear, which I think is because something's binding down there in the shifter. Now I've got water hooked up to the other engine. We're gonna see if she fires up. Here I go pulling the drive off again.
Here I go killing again.
Well, hello. What's going on over here? Is that Jameson? Hang on. I gotta check on the dog. J-Mo? Okay, good boy. You see the good boy? Good boy. It has been quite the last couple weeks. I got some bad news, but I also have some good news. Bad news is, when I left you last, I was taking off the port stern drive to reset the shifting linkage. Well, after a lot of frustration, I didn't get any of that on video, and I apologize for you all, because that's what we're all about, is showing you how we do these things. But it's just got so busy, and unfortunately the boat had a lot more to do than I thought. That being said, I have finally gotten both drives back on, both engines buttoned back up, and I even have the engine hatch finished. Guess what? She's ready to go out on the water. Look at how good White Lightning looked with the formula behind it. Can we just bask in that sight right there? The formula is finally ready to go. I even got my stickers on here. I gotta replace the old decals, but just look at her. Check the tire pressure, good to go. I haven't even touched it from last year. It's still at 44 PSI in each tire. Bearings are greased. I know they're a little dirty. I forgot my bearing buddies. Back to you. Woo-wee. Look, 2 spinners, 1, 2. Drives are both back on. Here's my counter rotating alpha drive, and here's my normal rotation alpha drive. I have the steering linkage bar tied between them. Platform is all good to go. To digress a little bit, what I had to do with these two drives, and if I'm being honest, I did it multiple times, as I had to pull them off the main bolts here. There's 6 of them that hold them onto the boat. I had to pull these back off just barely until they were on the edge of their thread here. And that was so I could get in here and get to, you guys can see it, that guy right there. That in the alpha drives is what allows you to shift them in and out of gear and into neutral. And unfortunately for me, I thought I did it right. Turns out I didn't do it right. These are my throttles, each independent of each engine, and these are my shifting levers. So what I couldn't do is on one of them, I could go forward, I could go to neutral, but I couldn't go to reverse. This one I could go to reverse, neutral, but I couldn't go forward. Well, I had to pull those off, get them set to the correct orientation, realign everything in the neutral position, and then finally I'm able to get them both into forward, both into reverse. And while I was at it, I adjusted all the shifting linkage at the engines so they are as smooth as butter and the nicest they've ever been. We are finally ready to go to the lake with my 1987 242 Formula SR1. The Cummins is going. The big old tugboat over there, the Sea Ray, is coming with us. Phil Billy is gonna put it behind his 2018 Ford F-150 with the twin turbo EcoBoost. I know it looks like a big boat. It's not. It only weighs about 6,800 pounds with the trailer and boat. So I think the F-150 will be fine. All right, let's get inside this and show you some updates. To start with first, me and my other roommate, Ben, we got my swim platform back onto the boat. I put the brackets on upside down though, but yep, gotta flip that over and then attach it to my hydraulic hoist cylinder in the middle. Once I get that done, I'll show you what's going on in the engine. I just dusted this. You won't believe me, but I swear, I just dusted that. And even the cabin is all clean. I've been in there vacuuming it. Oh yeah, that's my pillow for this weekend. We're going water camping and we're gonna bring you guys along because you haven't seen the boats out in action yet. It's just been me trying to get them running and working. You finally deserve some water action, and that's what we're gonna give you. And she's on. Boy, that was a lot harder than I thought. Now she's in, she looks good, and watch this. Oh, sweet glory. This is freedom. And I'll even throw the old courtesy lights on for you guys. Look at that. This is 100% complete. Both engines back together in perfect shape. My last thing, I could get this engine to start, and this one I couldn't get to start for the life of me. All the starters work, the alternators work great. Both engines have brand new oil. Filters, fuel filters, as you remember, they're both primed, but I couldn't get this one to start, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, what it ended up being, the Thunderbolt 4 ignition system is essentially an HEI ignition system for these old engines, and they're awesome. However, there's this old HEI timing system with a magnet, and then my rotor, it sends a signal and can calculate timing in my box here, and then essentially times the engine. You still have to clock the distributor correctly, but it gives you advance, it retards the engine, and it overall just lets the engine perform really well in its whole RPM range. Well, when I pulled this apart, this guy was all corroded and rusted. The magnet had actually fallen out, and there's a bunch of junk at the bottom. So immediately found out the hard way. That was my issue. I ordered a new one on Amazon Prime. So I bought the new design part, put that in this engine. This one still has the old one as far as I know. And if for some reason it stops running, that might be the first thing I check. I mean, just look how beautiful this is with the courtesy lights on. You got the mirror reflecting the two engines. I'm pumped. We're so ready to go. I just cleaned everything. The upholstery is clean. Look at that. All my lights working except for you. What the heck? Why aren't you working? Let me get into my bolster seat here. Look at that. We are ready to go. All my hydraulics are working, guys. I got those up. Yep, everything's up out of the water. Blowers are working. Bilge pump. Courtesy lights. Nav lights are all good. And then anchor lights. I got my starboard and port docking lights up there. And then what else we got? Panel lights. Panel does light up. You can't really tell right now. It's red. It's this really cool red color. And then for those curious, these engines have 1,152.3. I know that might scare some people, the amount of hours that are on them, but that's actually not too bad for a boat that's this age. And also, with everything that I've done to these engines, there's no problem at all. But we are geared up, ready to go. And enough of me talking. We will see you guys at the lake. The boys are buzzing. We made it out to the water officially. Formula's running great. Sea Ray's running great. We got Captain Phil back there. We're vibing. We got out on the water last night. It's a little windy today, but it's like 80 degrees, sunny. It's beautiful. This is awesome. We'll be back in a little while. Show you the boat and how she's running. They're rumbling. That's a wrap for the weekend. We're getting everything packed up out of the water. It's a beautiful day. You almost don't want to leave, but we're gonna hit the road. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll freaking see you later. Have a good one. I guess everybody's using Rams to tow their boats these days.
Yeah, 93010.
2013 Cummins, 2020 Hemi. Woo. That's slick. Got Jake's boat out here. Comes with my boat. Here comes J-Mo by the Sea Ray with Phil. Come on, J-Mo. Bye, bud. That's a wrap.